Oh, hello. It's been a while since I've been on camera. Welcome to Coffee Talk, lads. Can you take a minute to appreciate somebody who knows me so well? Mug. Anyway, welcome to Coffee Talk. I hadn't planned on coming on camera until well into the new year, but I've had so many messages from people wondering what am I going to do in relation to my business and my opening hours, and it's far easier to actually deal with all the questions here on social media. And actually, I know social media gets such a bad name at the best of times, but I am so grateful at times like this that people can get the message from me personally. So it's that it serves me and everybody else so well in delivering the message. And the other thing as well is that it's ideal for times like this that we can actually get feedback from you. And it differs from sending out a emailer to all of my clients, which can look like every client's needs are different to really what I'm saying is that not everybody's needs are the same when they come to me to have their eyebrows done. So there's different circumstances why people come to me to have their eyebrows done, and then there are people who come for beauty, and then there are people who come for medical reasons. So a one-off emailer to everybody could come across as not covering all the questions. So yeah. So before I close for Christmas, I had this feeling, obviously, that last night's announcement was going to happen, and I had already closed the books. It would give me more wiggle room for pushing the January clients to February and March and so on. And quite frankly, even though the government have closed us and put us into lockdown until January the 31st, that's only with a review. So in an educated guess, and talking to my nursing colleagues, as I have done for the last 24 hours, the vaccination program is anticipated to take approximately until August. So I had a lot to mull over last night, and I was extremely unsettled. And a natural thing to that normally would be to open the last of the Christmas wine and just horse into it. But you know what? I've learned over the years that that is no solution. So I actually didn't open any wine. And I had tea instead, and I had sparkling water, and I had, it doesn't matter what I had, but I have a very clear head today is the point that I'm making. And I woke up this morning after a very fitful sleep because I did a brain dump last night about the advantages of closing and not opening, and opening for certain clients and closing for other clients, and where all the while I needing to follow my internal moral compass. Even though my clinic is certified as COVID safe, my internal moral compass is telling me that the work I do is not essential. And I am a nurse, and I have been trained since 17 years of age that at all costs, and nurses, was drilled into us, is that we were not to harm anybody. Our mission and our moral was to help and heal without causing harm. And that is chipping away in my brain for the last 24 hours. So this is what my internal moral compass is directing me, and I'm being guided by that. Call it soul work, call it gut, call it whatever you like. And then I had a whole oh my God, it's so unfair on clients, and they've been scheduled and rescheduled yet again and rescheduled yet again, and have been so patient and so gorgeous about everything. Am I asking too much of you to wait again before I take on a new client? Or should I advise you to wait until June or July before you start your program of treatments with me, so that I can concentrate on the people who've already been inconvenienced in the past? That's where I'm coming from, and I'm going to do a few polls on this later on at the end of this coffee talk today. Okay, so I'm closed for January. That's a fact. So are all the other microbladers closed, or should be closed. That's a fact. The due diligence that I have executed since March to today, including today, I have managed, myself and my family have managed to stay COVID-free. That's a fact. Any little niggly symptom that I got since March, I had a COVID test for, because I needed to execute due diligence on each occasion, and it's always been negative. That's a fact. Anytime there was any changes made to the schedule in relation to NEFIT and the government guidelines, I have adhered to. That is a fact. Any of the Health and Safety Authority recommendations and any of the NEFIT and government criteria recommendations that were recommended for us as a whole, but for me as a business, I adhere to. That is a fact. I've not seen the inside of a shop. I have not done my grocery shopping. I literally was going from work to home to work. And any time that I met anybody, it was on the beach with a 2-meter distance, having a cup of coffee. And that is the only outlet that I had. That is a fact. So much so that I have a couple of doctors, I have quite a few nurses as clients who came to me between lockdown 1 and lockdown 2 to have their eyebrows finished. That they actually said to me, your COVID care policy that's emailed out in advance, your COVID reminder text that arrives on the morning, your COVID restrictions that you have in your clinic gives no leeway for any COVID virus to get in to your clinic. Now, this COVID virus is very wily, and he'll do the best he can to find a new host. But even to have somebody who are working in the medical field, of which I'm out of now, to say that the diligence gave them great comfort. They were coming to me to have their eyebrow microblading done between lockdown 1 and lockdown 2, gave them a great source of comfort to know that they were coming to a safe place. That is fact. So I am mildly irritated. I'm only mildly irritated today. I wasn't mildly irritated yesterday, you can be rest assured. Mildly irritated by the laissez-faire and cavalier attitude of some people, whereby I have put my business and my clients to the forefront, and my family, whereby they were restricted to such a point that it was a daily, or it was a nightly reminder at the dinner table, guys, whatever ye do, just bear in mind that if ye bring the virus to home, I could infect my immunocompromised and very vulnerable clients. It was very hard for them to see their friends partying. But we managed to keep COVID out of our home. Fact. And I'm not denying that we didn't have a couple of terse moments in our home. We most certainly did. And I felt that the more I lectured my 19 and 21-year-old that it wasn't there to make people's lives miserable, but it was to save people's lives. Now, both of their grandparents, all four of them, are dead. So they didn't sort of kind of feel the immediate impact of, oh my God, what if Granny got COVID and died, because they're already gone. But I found that unless they saw the direct impact of what could possibly happen, it's only then that they will actually really get the proper message. And it was very hard for them with their buddies partying in the cities. Very hard for them. And hard for me to continue delivering the message. Until a pod of 6 of Isaac's friends, the younger boy, all got COVID. One of them extremely ill and still has no taste or smell, extremely fatigued, but not only that, but incredibly depressed. And now he's actually seeing only a very, very small snippet of what COVID can do to the young people. That's only a small snippet. I am then also drip feeding the messages I'm getting from my friends who are working on frontline about the panic and the reality of bed shortages now as a result of all the COVID admissions, and the staff now going out sick also. So they're working on a skeleton staff with an overwhelming and alarming amount of patients in the hospitals, extremely sick. So where I'm coming from in relation to that is that I'm coming from a place whereby I know we've heard this whole thing, we're all in this together, in this together. So basically how I treat my current patients is going to be no different to any other microblader who can't open. And what I'm looking for is your input. I was going to do a poll actually, but I prefer that you direct message me. It'd be easier. What are you happy to do? Are you happy to just go with your rescheduled appointment that you have now, knowing that it will probably be March or April or even May before I get to see you? Or what would you like? You can either email me or you can direct message me here. Because I want to be able to serve you. I also want it to be safe. So what I'm really doing as well is that I am letting you know that I'm actually not I will not be breaking any rules. I've had so many messages about, oh, but the Botox clinics are opening. I'm not going down the road of that argument. I am following my own internal moral compass. And it's something that I pride myself on, that I would not put any of you in danger. And if the Botox and the dentists and the doctors and that are doing the Botox, if they want to follow that path, that's their choice. I'm not going to be in judgment of that. I can only stay in my own lane when it actually comes to making a judgment call on this. So yes, of course, I want to be able to serve you. I want to serve you, though, in a safe way. So don't worry about the microblading pigment. At each of the treatments, I drop more pigment at every treatment. So I will be able to get your eyebrows to where they need to be, even if there is a delay. You didn't have eyebrows to start with, so you can just go back using your pencil. So the treatment, yes, they will have faded quite a bit, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a bad end result. The end result is still going to be just what you want, just that it's going to be more protracted. So you didn't have great eyebrows to start with. You used your pencil for years. It's only another couple of months. Just continue using your pencil. Each of the steps obviously are done to add more pigment. So all it means is that it's going to be delayed. That's all. It's not the end of the world. And like For example, my cancer chemotherapy clients oftentimes might not see me for 4 months between each appointment, as it is, because they will either be neutropenic or they couldn't come or whatever. And the end result is always found once they're finished with the completed treatment. So I'm not, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say, I suppose, is that I'm no different to any other microblader. You're going to have to wait. And yeah. And you will have your gorgeous brows at the end of all of this. You're going nowhere anyway. So, should it matter? It probably does, I know. Yes, it matters a great deal. But we were never in a global pandemic before. So in the grand scheme of things, whilst I know they're very important, I think our safety is more important. And I'm doing this to save lives. I'm doing this to save your life, possibly. Yes. And at the moment, people are terse and people are upset and people are sad. I know of one client who told me that one of her clients ended his life a couple of weeks ago because of the lack of social interaction. And he was a man younger than I am. So I suppose there has been so much of this going on in my head, and I'm more often than not led by my heart. And when I hear these kind of things, I kind of think, yes, I know eyebrows are important. They're extremely important. They're also my business. But to preserve life has to be the most important thing. It has to be. Right, okay, so I'm going to lift this a bit now. I never did anything for New Year's Eve. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Actually, most of the time I was on night duty as a nurse on New Year's Eve. And I was quite happy to be working rather than being out faking New Year, New Me, and wishing everybody a Happy New Year. People that I probably didn't even like at the best of times. So I'm not doing anything this evening anyway. And I'm with the people that I love the most. And we have been fermenting a pizza base for the last 3 or 4 days, and we're pulling out the pizza oven that we had used all summer long, and we're having a outdoor pizza, I was going to say party, but of course it's not a party. It's the 4 of us, and we're lighting up the pizza oven outside, and even if the snow comes down, we're going to have that, and that's our New Year's Eve. One to remember for sure. So I suppose I am urging people to be mindful and kind to other people who might not be upbeat. I know that I was not upbeat last night. I'm a lot better today. And I think to get out in nature, life, not put anybody in any danger. I'm staying closed for January, obviously. I will probably be closed in February and March as well. So be prepared to be pushed out even further. Be kind to you. Be kind to the people that are around you. And most importantly, stay within your own bubble. To save your friends' lives, I want us all to be together when all this is over. So, before I tune out for today, because I won't be coming back on social media again to do coffee talk, I'd say until well into the middle of next week. I'll be back to these guys for my hair. I missed out on so many hair appointments at this stage. So thank God for them. And gorgeous colours as well. Oh, I love those colours. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who's been so patient, who's been so kind, who's been so understanding, and I can't wait to see all of you in 2021, whereby it'll be like emerging from a war, that we can properly hug one another, and I can resume doing eyebrow microblading for all of you. And I want to thank you so much for your kindness and understanding shown towards me, who've been trying to keep this business done in a safe environment. And those of you who reached out to me and said, the only reason I came to you, Olive, is that you didn't take any risk. Unlike other people who, moved out of their 5K zone when they weren't supposed to, moved out of their county when they weren't supposed to, who took your lives at risk, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to reach out to say that to me, because that means so much to me. And you've been so kind, particularly those of you who have been rescheduled mid-treatments with me. I think that's particularly, it's kind of like a job half done, and you've been amazing. So, thank you again. I want to wish you a very, very peaceful 2021. As things change, well then obviously I will update you. And I'll be back to Coffee Talk again. I won't be doing lives on this occasion. I'm going to concentrate my time on getting my taxes sorted out for 2020 because I've got the time to do it. And concentrating on a lot of the online courses that I did in the last lockdown, because I can actually tap into those again, and there's always room for extra training. So, I was going to talk about that actually. No, I won't talk about that. But happy 2021. I'm so glad to have met all of you. Those of you who've been on the microblading journey who I've met recently, those of you who have yet to meet, who've been issued with gift certificates for your Christmas presents. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'll be advising you to book in probably June or July, August even. They're valid for 5 years anyway. In fact, they're valid forever, for as long as I'm working, because I always honoured them anyway. And here's to a new 2021 where we'll be all vaccinated, all safe, and that we can just continue to do my work in building people's confidence with their new eyebrows. Happy 2021. Sorry, I cut off now there. I wish all for you that you would want for yourself. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Tuning out until the middle of next week. Bye now.